And firefighters from several communities, including Chicago, are in Harvey right now trying to help to put this fire out. A total of 6 buildings may be on fire there. It all started at 157th and Lathrop at the former Allied Tube and Conduit Company. ABC 7's Dan Ponce is live for us in Harvey. Dan?
Alan, the big story with this fire today is the wind. Firefighters have been dealing with 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, making this battle extremely difficult. Several buildings in the surrounding community and homes may be in danger because of this fire, but they are working very hard out here. Firefighters are also dealing with some serious water issues. There's been some problems with water pressure. They've had to bring in some tankers from outside communities. But this is going to be a very difficult fire to battle. Chopper 7 HD live right now over this scene. We are told that this fire started sometime between 11 and noon, as you mentioned, at the Allied Tube Company. It was an abandoned building, we are told, but this fire quickly spread when embers from the fire jumped over 155th Street, the strong northeast winds taking those embers and consuming another building, several buildings actually, across the street and nearby. The employees, though, had long been evacuated, so from what we're hearing right now, that no one has been injured. We have seen a couple of firefighters walk off the scene here today and go into a couple of ambulances, but from just what we're seeing out here, their injuries don't appear to be that serious. There are dozens of fire departments from surrounding communities out here right now. Dozens of firefighters working hard. The problem with this water, though, as soon as it shoots out of the hose, it pretty much just turns into the mist because of this wind. This wind is absolutely deafening, and this smoke is absolutely blinding. Now, right now, from what we can tell, probably about 25 pieces of fire equipment are on the scene right now, but only about 6 to 10 lines of water are being sprayed. So right now, fire department officials trying to figure out how they can get this water situation under control. And of course, they are dealing with some serious winds right now. Firefighters are in for a very long afternoon that will probably go into the early evening hours. We'll, of course, keep you updated with information as it becomes available. For now, we are live in Harvey. I'm Dan Ponce, ABC 7 News. Back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you. We can see evidence there with just how much wind there is right now. Now, joining us on the telephone is a spokesperson for Harvey. That's Sandra Alvarado. She's going to update us on the conditions. Sandra, we can see from those shots, this is an industrial park, but are there any major roads? Are there, where there may be a problem for traffic? Are there any evacuations planned?
Hi. Well, actually, first thing is first, the mayor and the city want to thank all of the various departments that have come out to assist us in this fire. We currently have over 78 companies working with the Harvey Fire Department, and the fire has extended approximately 4 blocks to the north of where it began. Obviously, the winds have been the primary problem in this fire because 40 to 50 mile an hour winds has made it extremely difficult to combat this fire. Currently, there have been no injuries reported. We are thankful of that. All of our firefighters are working very diligently to get this fire under control. And the companies as well in the area have complied and assisted in all of the demands of the department. We were able to evacuate the building that caught on fire right north of 155th Street very early on, so there were no injuries or no cause to worry about injuries in that aspect. So our main concern at this point is the winds. We have a lot of good firefighters out here, and we are confident that they will be able to get this fire under control.
Sandra, you mentioned that it moved 4 blocks in the time period since it started. Now, how close are other homes, other buildings to this complex that is on fire?
At this point, there is nothing in this immediate path. So it is one building that we are working on at this point to try to get it under control. Again, the wind is making it very difficult.
We see that the smoke is very heavy, too, and I'm wondering if it's affecting any traffic, any roadways around there.
We do have 159, Halsted Street from 159th to 150th blocked off for precautionary reasons and to make sure that the firefighters can have access to what they need to very quickly. Like, again, I'll reiterate, the wind is making it very difficult for everyone.
Now, this was the former Allied Tube and Conduit Company, correct? Are there other companies now involved, other businesses, and were all of them vacant?
Well, the Allied Tube and Conduit, you are correct, that was empty and has been for very, very many years. There was another company involved. It was a craft paper at one point, but has recently been sold, and the new company hadn't even been able to get in there and start production yet, so it was empty as well. Bliss and Lawson was involved. That's a steel company, but it was the company that was evacuated very early on in order to alleviate any chance of any injuries in that building.
And what concerns do you have that with this heavy smoke there, that there's any toxic chemicals that might be involved here? Any?
No, not at this point. Again, we're just concerned with the wind. It is making it very difficult. We want to make sure that all of our firefighters go home tonight very safely to their families, and that's our main concern at this point.
Sandra, are there other buildings in that industrial park that have workers in there that you still need to evacuate?
No, ma'am. All the buildings in this little industrial area have been evacuated. They were evacuated very early on. Like I said, all of the buildings complied very quickly with the demands of the department. So that wasn't a concern of ours at that point. All
right. Sandra Alvarado, representing the community of Harvey, we thank you very much for joining us and giving us an update. And we, of course, will continue to monitor what's happening with that fire.
Even starting a fire in a junkyard several blocks away. 2 firefighters were injured from smoke inhalation, but no civilians were hurt. However, workers who had to be evacuated, about a dozen of them, saw their livelihoods go up in smoke.
It started spreading from one building to another, and eventually, with all the material flying in the air, it caught the building that I work in.
And right now, there's no cause. We really don't know how this fire began. We can tell you that the ATF is here, which is standard in a big fire like this. They're looking into many possibilities, whether or not there's anything suspicious to this fire, including we heard reports of a possible gas leak, but at this point, we don't know for sure. We can tell you as a result of this fire, some of the power lines were actually set on fire. As a result, 1,100 customers with ComEd earlier today had no power. Live here tonight in Harvey, Juan Carlos Van Hool, WGN News.
All right, Juan Carlos, thanks for that live report. Now, for miles around, residents knew something was terribly wrong. The thick smoke and gray dust covered homes, cars, and streets for blocks. WGN's Antoine Lewis is also in Harvey with what the neighbors saw. Hi, Antoine.
Hey, Michael, one neighbor described this as a thick fog that was moving through the neighborhood, but this one was moving rather quickly as Mother Nature was providing the fuel.
Oh, my God, look at that fire.
That fire was burning literally in 80-year-old Wanda Szymanski's backyard.
Yeah, we went outside and we were looking. And that's when the fire department kept coming and coming.
As the fire department battled the 5-alarm warehouse blaze, residents in the towns of Harvey and Phoenix battled thick smoke and heavy ash.
A bunch of black smoke. It was so dark. Till I said, damn, make sure my house ain't on fire.
Complicating matters was the wind, as it carried the smoke through the surrounding neighborhoods for miles. This nursery school was reportedly evacuated, and Emmett Conley of Smitty's Lounge did the exact same thing with customers.
When that started, I told them they had to go, you know, because it was too close.
And it was really burning. We were scared of that. It's a good thing that the wind was north instead of south, because if it would have been south, we would have probably got it.
Still, others nearby didn't fare as well.
My business is about 500 feet to the east of where the original fire started.
Winds blew flames from that original fire onto the building where Benny Centracchio works. He's now unemployed. His building burned to the ground.